make the ice cream. I make it in a normal way with the egg and the sugar. I boil up the milk. I always make just a plain ice cream and then I flavour it afterwards. So it's like making custard basically, and it's all, you've got to take your time. You don't speed it because it curdles really quickly. So I always do it on like a solid top, not on a gas ring. I don't use things like copper pans and things like that. I just put it in. I've got the big like sort of catering saucepans, and we normally make a big batch, like what I call a 3 batch, and then I'll make the mixture up until it coats the back of the wooden spoon, and then I'll have a little pot of chocolate, I'll have some vanillas already seeded off, or I might have some Baileys or something like, or some caramel sauce or butterscotch sauce in each of those pots. Pour it on, it infuses, sometimes add a little bit of cream to it, give it a little whisk, and then leave them in the fridge, and then come back in the evening. I've got a big ice cream machine that I churn them all up with. And we try and make those sort of, we don't make big amounts because they don't last very long in the freezer, only a week or so. So we just make smaller mixes. And then similar sort of thing with the sorbet really. Sorbet I do in the copper pan, and it's just sugar and water, and I just bring that to the boil until it's dissolved. I pour that in, separate it up, and then I add the flavour like lemons to it or some raspberries. I just blend the raspberries, add a little bit of mix to it, and then just leave them, and that's it for sorbet. And people, don't realise how little goes into the ice creams and sorbets, but obviously having an ice cream machine which churns it, which makes all the difference. Before I used to make it and put it in the freezer in a tub and beat it all up, and it's all full of crystals. It's not very nice, but obviously with the ice cream machine it does make a bit of a difference. Right, just waiting for the fondant. That's why the little fill there with ice creams and sorbets. And the chocolate sauce just melts in. It's just the chocolate and the cream. So has anybody got any ideas of what sort of thing they would like to go to a restaurant to see being
Just one thing, I may have missed, did you explain how you made the red wine sauce for the duck?
Yeah, I mean, I make proper stock, so we roast the bones, we roast the vegetables, we put it on, normally get that on a Tuesday, and then we make a stock up, we cook it overnight, and then in the next morning I put it in the fridge, and all the fat comes to the top. Take off the fat, we pour off the stock, and then reduce that down by half, and then we've got like a base sort of stock. A lot of work goes into that. And when it's in the fridge, it's in a container, it's actually like a jelly, so it's a proper gelatin that comes out of the bones. And then from that I'll make a derivative of different sauces. So for a red wine one, as you said, we'd start off with some carrots and some celery and some garlic and some onion, sweat it off with some thyme, some tomato puree, and then a bottle of red wine, let that reduce and fuse in, and then add that stock on top of it. So the stock then cooks into it, reduce that down again by half, and then strain it, and then you end up with a tub about that big then. After starting with a stock pot like this, and you end up with 3 or 4 little sauces, and you can do like pork versions and things like that as well.
So there's no shortcut?
No, there's no gravy granules, although I love, personally, I do actually like bespoke gravy granules to do as well, but there's no shortcut, you've got to do it properly. And then same again if you do a chicken version, you make a chicken stock, but you don't brown the vegetables, you keep it, you just peel the vegetable, peel the carrots, celery, onions. Like when I do the stock for the beef, I always roast the onions whole, cut them in half and leave the skins on, because the sweetness in the skin, and it gives a natural colour and a natural caramel when you roast them off in the bones as well. So that's how you get your brown colour, and there's no gravy browning or anything like that in there. And again, all these things take so much time, there's a lot of time involved.